Good morning. I am vibing high today. So I'm here to give a little positive energy your way. I am so excited at the massive wins that I've already accomplished this morning because of an amazing daily process that I learned a few years ago and over the years, actually, I've been sober 19 something years, 19 plus years. My date is November 25th, 2004. It's a very important date. And I have a super high vibe tribe. It takes a community to thrive. I know that today. I used to isolate and try to do things my own way, by myself, and it just ended up leaving me depressed and lonely and literally wanted to kill myself. And I wanted to get off this planet. I wasn't grateful for what I had. And the number one thing, someone said today, how do I not be a victim? Which I've already touched on that in another previous video, 2 other ones now. How to not be a victim. Maybe we should talk about that today. I don't even have a plan what to say. Because I used to be a victim, and I have healed from being a victim. I am far from being a victim. I'm not a victim today, but it wasn't always that way. 19 years ago and before, I was a victim. From the moment I was born, I felt like a victim. I was born to a heroin addict and an alcoholic. My mom is doing wonderful today. I love her so much in every way. She's fine today. But she, like me, had drinking problem too. And my real dad was a heroin addict, and he's since passed away. I didn't get to meet him past the age of 5. I don't even remember. So, because women that don't have a dad have a difficult time to thrive. They don't do that great. But you can. No matter what your past, you can overcome it. Because there's a source, there's a power, there's a divine love above that can guide you and give you a life that you've always dreamed of when you tap into it. And the number one step to not being a victim is not drinking or using drugs, not using mind-altering substances, because it cuts you off literally from the sunlight of the spirit. Your soul is cut off from the sunlight of the spirit if you use drugs, drink alcohol. Even what the doctors give you, be careful with that. We're meant to heal ourselves through and through with natural remedies. And yes, we need a doctor sometimes. We thank God for their expertise. But ultimate healing, the ultimate 100% responsibility is on ourselves. And that brings me to the number 2 part of not being a victim, is taking 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens to you. Even if it seems things that are out of your control, even if a car came and hit you from the side. Well, your part is that you were in that place at that time. It's not placing blame, it's just taking 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens to you. Just decide to do that today. When something happens to you that you don't like, say, what did I do to create that? What did I do? Find your part in it. You do have a part in every single thing that happens to you. That's number 2. I'm doing these off the cuff, just what worked for me, what healed me to get me out of the victim mode. So number 1 was clean and sober. Number 2 was taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens to you. And number 3, I think the biggest thing about me, the final step to me, what really put the icing on the cake and not just the plug in the jug, but is controlling my food. Number 3 is taking control of your food, which affects your mood. lot of people don't do this. They don't think of it. They try all these fad diets and gimmicks. I did it too. I went to Weight Watchers for years. I'm not knocking Weight Watchers. It worked. It helped me get a long ways. It helped me drop the weight. But it didn't help me be stellar and get the results that I really, really long for. It didn't help me get the results that I admire. And learning to track your food, like the pros, only the best will do for you. You're worthy of the best, so why do you settle for less? I had to stop settling for less. I'm married to the best. It comes to my mind when I think of the best. I literally chose him, several years ago. I literally chose him, I think it was about 14 years ago. When he walked into state prison, I saw him. He was the best. My first thought was like, oh my God, he's out of my league. Like there was all these things that were wrong. Thankfully, I've kind of had this knowing. I was already in my sobriety journey that I was worth the best. And I knew how to walk through fear at this time. So I put him in my vision, made it clear. And today, we're married and thriving again. We have just walked through a horrendous test, and I believe we made it because we follow the best. We are the best. I married the best. He's the best. I'm the best. I'm the best I could be today because I have a God that guides me in every single way. And I'm confident. I'm confident because I know I got a God that loves me regardless of what anyone else says or throws at me. I know that I got a God that's bigger than all of it. And you do too. Our God is bigger for me and you. So, those are the first 3 steps to not being a victim. Get clean and sober. Take 100% responsibility for every single thing that happens to you. Say, what did I do to create that? How can I change that? How can my behavior change this that I'm not liking? There's this formula I learned years ago too that was helpful. E + R = O. E stands for event, R stands for response, and the O stands for outcome. So you can't control the event, always. We can take responsibility for it, but something happens that you can't control. But we can control our response. Our response is what gives us the outcome. For instance, I just went through a horrific trial where I didn't act right. I came out of character, and I was separated from just long story short, I couldn't go home. For 5 months, I couldn't go home. Locked out of my house. My marriage was on the line. But I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted. I'm a child of God. I knew that I wanted to stay married. I knew that I have an amazing husband. I believe in holding my word, and my word is God's word. And I searched that Bible for what I was supposed to do, and it led me through and through. And I clung to that. I knew the outcome was to hold my word, to stay true to God's word. So even though the event I didn't like, I was facing horrible consequences. I was locked out of my house because of my anger. But my response is, I needed to line those up with the outcome. So I studied my Bible. I lined my actions up with the Word. And today, I'm so grateful to say, I'm home. I only been home, a week? And whoo-wee. But there's a lesson in that adversity that I am so grateful for. I'm going to be even better than before. I'm going to be a better wife than I ever was because of the lesson that it taught me. Even in adversity, be grateful for it and look for the lesson. Look for the lesson. So not being a victim, that's part of it too, is looking for the lesson in the negative things that you perceive that are happening to you. Really, nothing is happening to you. It's happening for you. However, we're human, so it feels bad. It feels bad. It feels like something bad's happening. Look for the lesson is how not to be a victim. Okay, what is this trying to teach me? How can I flip this? I'm supposed to watch my words. I'm supposed to be a woman of grace and help other women flourish too, and find the beauty within them too. I'm supposed to show you what Christ is like. Christ is all loving, all powerful, all forgiving, all merciful. It's so awesome. Our source is awesome. Tap into that power. I know, like, girl power shirts distracted me, but it's really God power. God power. That's where the power is, and not being a victim anymore. Say no to things you want to say no to. Be authentically you. Stop people pleasing. That's another one, to not be a victim. Stop people pleasing. Yes, be kind but say what you mean, and don't say it mean. We're supposed to be kind. We're supposed to love our neighbors. Firm but fair was a theme in prison that carried me through, and why I got respect most of the time is because I was firm and fair. So I hope that helps on how to not be a victim. The person that asked for that, decide not to be a victim today by staying clean, sober all the way, taking 100% responsibility for what happens to you. Learn to track your food, track your macros like the pros. If you don't know how to do that, you want to know how to do that, then DM me and I'll show you how. No people pleasing. Be authentically you. Start today. Just decide to start today. Decide that you're not going to be a victim anymore. No way.